Challenging behaviors are defined as actions that significantly interfere with the quality of life of individuals engaging in these behaviors and those with whom they live with. Some of these challenging behaviors may include aggression, like hitting, biting, or scratching. It could be self-injury, such as head banging, hand biting, or face slapping. It could be tantrums, such as screaming or destroying objects. It could be body movements like hand flapping and rocking. And it could also be psychotic speech. Children will engage in challenging behaviors to have their needs met. The challenging behaviors are seen as socially inappropriate, but the child has adapted their actions due to their inabilities and limitations. These challenging behaviors may be used by the child or youth as they get their needs met for one or more of the following reasons: wanting social attention from an adult or peer, gaining access to an object, activity, event, or sensory stimulation, escape from a demand or boring task, escaping attention from a peer or an adult, or escaping sensory stimulation, which is painful or discomforting. It's also important to note that there may be events or pre-existing conditions that have happened earlier in the day that may contribute to a child's overall mood and success. These are called setting events, or slow triggers. We should always take these into consideration to know how the child overall is doing today. Some examples of setting events that could be possible for our children are toothaches, poor sleep, change in a teacher, needing to have a bowel movement. We all have events that happen throughout our day that may affect our mood and daily successes. This might look like not having your morning coffee, being late for work, missing breakfast, or coworkers or parents being rude to you. Challenging behaviors are interconnected to things or events that happen before a problem behavior and right after the problem behavior in the child's immediate surroundings. In the previous presentations, we learned about how to build a new relationship and preventative strategies. These are approaches we can use to help prevent and reduce the amount of inappropriate behaviors that happen. These approaches happen before a problem behavior. Let's discuss what you can do during a problem behavior and right after. Let's use this example. A child is asked to put on shoes, the child flops to the floor, and the parent puts the shoes on for the child. When dealing with challenging behaviors, it's important to note what the child's abilities are. Asking unrealistic expectations for a child that may not have the skills to do what is being asked of them is not fair. Always ask yourself the following questions. Is what I am asking realistic? And can the child complete this on their own? Do they have the ability to do this? Some strategies we will explore for dealing with challenging behaviors are redirection and supporting the child to complete the expectation. When supporting, that could be either through guidance or decreased response effort. Redirection. Redirection is a technique used to lead the child or youth to engage in the expected, appropriate behavior that has been asked of them rather than the inappropriate behavior. An example could be an adult told a child it's time to clean up toys. The child hits the adult. The adult then redirects the task at hand by repeating what was asked. It's time to clean up toys. Redirection can be presented in various ways to a child. Verbal, you can repeat what has been said to the child. Pointing in the direction to the toys. A visual with a verbal, it's time to put the toys away. Or a visual and pointing. For some children, repeating vocally what you asked becomes frustrating, and therefore it may be more supportive to have no verbal repeating and simply point to the task asked of them. The method you choose would be what works best for the child. So for example, what is the best method for the child to receive the information? Is it visually or auditory or both? Another strategy for helping a child through challenging behaviors is supporting them. And this could look like giving guidance to support with the expected actions, or decrease the effort involved for the child's response. This could look like showing the child what cleaning up looks like. You could hand the blocks to the child to put in the bag. You could hold the bag open for the child to place blocks in, or have the child clean up 2 blocks instead of 20. Some general tips when working through a challenging behavior with a child are to keep a neutral voice, limit eye contact, do not comment on the inappropriate behavior, and stay neutral. Ignore the problem behavior, not the child. And give the child space when needed, but be close enough to support when they are ready. Following through with what has been asked of the child or youth is important so that their responsiveness to the adult is maintained and they do what was asked. Following through provides consistency, predictability. As well, the child will know the expectations from the adult, and the adult in turn will maintain instructional control. An adult's response after the problem behavior should remain neutral and may comment on the task being completed. For example, that's cleaning up. Move forward with what is next. And give the child or youth positive praise for appropriate actions. It's also important to set out time to rebuild a rapport with your child. It's important to remain neutral until the child has calmed down and once they are ready to move forward. This depends on the child. Some may need time, and others are ready to go and play again immediately after. Once the child is ready, begin to praise their positive actions. This will support to resume that positive relationship. Now that we know what challenging behaviors are, why the child or youth may be engaging in them, how to deal with them in the moment and after, let's reflect on the previous presentations that support with the prevention of problem behaviors. These are strategies that happen before the problem behavior. Take a moment to reflect on the application of building a rapport or a new relationship with a child, and the support or preventative strategies presentations, as they are interconnected strategies that help reduce challenging or inappropriate behaviors. Applying the strategies learned. In the previous presentations, you learned about these following strategies. Now we are going to put it all together. Remember this example from before of the child flopping on the floor after being asked to put on their shoes? Let's use this scenario to apply the strategies we have learned. First, we're going to apply some preventative strategies, which include visual schedule and a choice board. Prior to going outside, you provided the child with an array of choices on the visual choice board. Next, you will set up your visual schedule with outdoor activities that the child or youth has picked from his or her choice board. You are providing choice and a child's interest in activities before going out. Now you could have the visual first-then present. A first-then visual is a priming strategy that can be used to help prevent a challenging behavior from occurring. First, you will put your shoes on, then we will go in the sandbox. Remembering that the sandbox is a highly preferred item for the child. So let's say you ask the child to put on their shoes. We know they are capable of doing this, but they flop to the floor. Now we can use our redirection and the techniques to support the child. Redirection could look like pointing back to the visual of shoes while restating what you initially asked. Put on your shoes. Now, using the strategy of supporting the child could be through guidance, show the child by putting on your own shoes, or you could decrease the effort involved for the child. This could be moving the shoes closer to the child, unvelcro shoes for them, or place the shoes on toes or halfway on the child's foot. Using these strategies, all while keeping a neutral voice, not commenting or reacting to inappropriate behaviors, and giving space when needed. but be ready to support once the child is ready to do what is asked. Adult response. The adult can comment on the task being completed. That's putting your shoes on. Now it is time to go outside. The tone should remain neutral. Then move forward with what is next, which is sandbox, being outside. Begin to rebuild a rapport with the child or youth. Give the child or youth positive praise for appropriate actions. Again, remain neutral until the child has calmed down and is ready to move forward. Once the child is ready, use the visual aid to support with receiving information. Once the child is ready to move to outside and begin to rebuild your relationship, remember to have fun and follow the child's lead. Applying these techniques and previously learned strategies, you can support your child or youth with autism spectrum disorder while creating routines, predictability, and support in difficult circumstances. This in turn will enhance your time together, making it positive, valuable, and rewarding.